Hello trainers! Last video I was talking about mistakes you shouldn't make and why you should save monies. So for that topic I was asked numerous times, instead of saving, how can we increase or make money? Aside from the 3 races we get, how else can we do it? So for that question, here's the ultimate Monies Farm guide. Hope you guys all enjoy and let's get straight into it. So first things first, I want to disclaim that doing this method is, in my experience, only worth it if these following things are true. The first thing is you should have no more legacy horses to borrow when starting a career. Once you use all 3 of your legacy horse borrow slot, running this is extremely valuable, as without a horse slot, it's extremely inefficient to farm for spark. The second thing to keep in mind is if you have 0 monies to upgrade your support cards. If this sounds like you and you've just watched my guides, seen the game tour website, and seen that some support cards that you're leaving on the bench are simply just quite better than the ones you're running, and you need monies to get them upgraded to get better runs, this farm is for you. The third thing you should consider is if you have no time to spend all of your stamina or training points. If you want to keep your stamina recharging, this method is for you. I was in a Las Vegas trip for the past 2 days, and since the strategy really required no brains and I was busy all the time, doing this before I had to go out let me spend my stamina in a very quick manner while farming monies before I went out and had no more time to play. If all of these are true and you have remaining training points left with no legacy horses to borrow and you don't want to use any of your brain at all, this is the perfect Monies Farm for you. So what will we be doing? Be warned that this process is kind of cruel and doesn't give any good legacy horses. Just a straight up Monies Farm and an injection straight to your pocket. My first run got me a total of over 13,800 monies in one single run. This footage here is my very first try doing this method, and there are things that I've severely messed up on which could have easily got me more carrots and more monies in the process. So I'll be teaching you guys exactly what to do and what you can do to maximize your farming monies potential. The first thing you're going to want to do when starting a career is picking the Umamusume Urara. And when you get to the legacy horses, do not make the same mistake I did. In my normal runs, I usually bring lots of power sparks, and that normally is not bad because we're usually running 4 speed cards, but Urara will be wanting as much speed and power at the same time. If you can balance this out, this will be perfect for your runs. Also, try viewing your skills and getting as much velocity increases or just normal speed increases and get as much late surger skills as possible. We don't need any recovery skills, as I'll explain later, but we also don't have to worry about any support cards as we won't be using them either in this method. So before we start the run, let me explain how does this run work. What we are going to do is spam as much speed on Urara as possible until her first race comes around. Urara has a 3 fan goal requirement during her career, and that's what makes this strategy so efficient. Once we spam speed all the way to her first race, we are going to continue and run as many races as possible. That is right, we will be racing for every turn for her next 3 career goals. For every race we do, based off of the tier of the race, we get a minimum of 200 monies or up to 400 plus monies per race. We will be losing the first ones, and even if we fail every race, we will gain enough fans to make it to the next goal. And after a couple of races, we'll finally get our dirt turf races, which Urara specializes in. And once that happens, we can easily get a couple first places, which will easily finish her fan goal requirement if you've been losing the rest of the races before then. Once we get our dirt turf races, this is where we will constantly farm. And also, during my first run doing this, I actually got some of the G3s and the G2 races first place trophies due to never running these races ever in my careers. So with that in mind, this can also help with your goals and the achievements where you want to win as much races as possible. If you brought the correct sparks and do the correct races and just attempt to run the biggest races when there are no dirt races, each attempt can net you up to 400 plus monies per race. And with my first run attempting 40 races, that's already a guaranteed 8,000 monies if you only did the minimum 200 monies per race with the weaker races. And also, don't forget to spend your skill points every once in a while. Running a race every turn will net you lots of skill points which you can use for late surger skills or just increase velocity skills. Try to buy every gold speed increase skill first and everything that can help with the race before you buy a stamina recovery skill. As Urara is a late runner, her stamina requirements for a mile or sprint race, and with career races usually padding down the requirement of races by around minus 200 stamina, her being a late runner is more than enough to be able to run those races. And by the end of these races, this can easily net you a minimum of 13,800 monies per run, but at maximum, doing this method without the mistakes that I did, I can definitely see it increasing if you win the first couple of races to meet the goal requirements, and then after do higher quality races constantly without worrying about her fan requirement as you hit them already. You can easily race more races that will give you 400 monies per attempt, increasing the amount of monies gained overall. If we fast forward all the way to the end, you can see that at the end of my first run doing this method, I had over 40 races done and 17 wins, which could easily be increased as that was my first run. And we started off this career with 382,990 monies, and at the end of the career we ended off with 396,760 monies, making my first run, which wasn't at all the best run, netting us 13,800 monies, which without using our brain and just spamming races is not bad at all if you need the monies in the first place. And that will be all for my ultimate Monies Farm guide. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and thank you guys seriously for the support recently. If you are wondering why we want monies in the first place, consider watching my mistakes you shouldn't make guide as I explain it there. And as always, I appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Later.